Well, I can't remember how many times I've had people come up to me and say, there is no God. Well, I always ask them, how do you know there's no God? They say, well, how do you know there is? I say, well, that's not the point. You made the statement, there is no God. How do you know there's no God? You see, I say to them, I say, I think you say that there's no God because you want to believe there's no God. You have faith that there's no God. You see, but I believe there is a God, and I believe there's a God with good reason. I think many people can't find God simply for the same reason a thief can't find a policeman. You see, all someone has to do is go outside at night and look up at the stars of the sky. They proclaim the evidence of there being a God. They are shouting out, they are screaming out for all to know there is a God. But what do people do? They want to come up with all they want to come up with all kinds of reasons there can't be a God. Why? Because they know if there was a God, they'd be responsible for their conduct. They'd be responsible for how they live, what they say, how they treat other people. So they don't want to believe that there's a God. But if they look up at the stars, it's evident there is. So they come up with all kinds of things like oh, there's different dimensions. Well, let me tell you something. Either something by its nature is eternal, or something non-eternal emerged from nothing. And even within other dimensions, and I actually believe there's other dimensions, and that's the dimension God exists in, which they say, well, I think everything came from different dimensions. Well, they're close there because of the fact that God's in a different dimension. But you see, even no matter how many dimensions you want to believe in, without evidence, I might add, however many dimensions you might want to believe in, essentially to begin with, there had to be something that was eternal, or something non-eternal emerged from nothing. And of course, we know that from nothing, nothing comes. And so the whole concept of all these dimensions and everything falls way, way short. So what do they do then? They come up with the concept that to begin with, there was this little tiny thing, just this little tiny thing. It's called a Planck length. It's 100 million billion times smaller than the nucleus of an atom. And they feel that was there eternally. And then for some unforeseen reason that they have no idea at all of, that little Planck length just exploded. And as a result of that explosion, here we are. And it just exploded and caused all the galaxies and everything. And then Earth, it just showed up as a hot, fiery ball. And then ends up with about 2/3 of it covered with oceans. This is laughable. This is absolutely laughable what these folks that are running from God come up with. It's amazing.